Teachers and students, అందరికీ good afternoon everyone. Today I am Koppala Kiran, school assistant social. I am working at ZPHS Sendlapalli, Surayapeta Mandal. Today I am going to teach a lesson, 10th class social studies 16th lesson, election process in India. Okay, let us start our lesson. Good afternoon, students. End of the chapter, students can achieve these learning outcomes. Students are able to these objectives and specifications. Particularly, they understood the election system. They know the election commission and chief election commissioner. They understand the functions of the election commission. The appreciation of TN session reforms, that means recommendations in election process. They know the code of conduct and political parties in election, conduct of elections at various levels. They know EVM and NOTA and postal ballot. They understand court judgments. They understand difference between returning officer and the presiding officer. Students, look at this slide and observe the paper clippings. What are the displayed in the slide? Look at first paper clipping. EC issues notification constituting 14th Lok Sabha. EC tightens norms for poll expenses. EC to visit Gujarat again, review poll arrangements. High Court, HC means High Court asks EC to bar criminal nets. EC shoots down HM advice on poll reforms. Photo ID cards not mandatory in Bihar polls. EC accepts new Haryana DCP. EC will seek power to ensure political ads. EC says no immediate plan to ban exit polls. EC orders repoll in 398 more booths. Easy to keep closer eye on hidden poll costs. Students, what did you observe in that paper clips? Look at the carefully and read out. What did you understand about the paper clips? Can you say anything about that? Yes, Election Commission is the more powerful other institutions. Look at the top of the headline. Why are elections necessary? In those days and the initial days, kings and queens were ruled their kingdoms. They were ordered. They were issues number of orders by orally. That orders were implemented by the Council of Ministers. Nowadays, there is no kingdom, anything. Particularly 20th century, after Second World War, Asia, Africa, and Latin America, most of the countries got independence, and also they were established democratic form of governments like presidential type of government, parliamentary type of government, particularly India. India, in the last lesson, we will discuss, we have discussed already about the making independent India's constitution. In that lesson, we can understand what is the Constituent Assembly. It was appointed a drafting committee to preparing our constitution, Indian constitution. Finally, drafting committee was prepared Indian constitution, and it was approved 1949 November 26th by Constituent Assembly. It was effective from 1950 on January 26th. In that Indian constitution, the preamble of the constitution is very important. It is the soul of the Indian constitution. What is that? Why it is soul of the constitution of India? Look at that. India is a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, and republic state. It is the main element of the Indian constitution. In that elements particularly we have taken from democratic state. In democracy means rule of people. There is a definition for democracy by Abraham Lincoln. Democracy is of the people, by the people, for the people. In that way, mainly why are elections necessary? This is very important topic. We have already discussed in previous lesson Indian Constitution. We established a democratic government. Representation of People's Act 1951. It is very important act passed by the Parliament of India, Indian government. According to this act, Representation of People's Act 1951, we required to conduct the election in India. Why it is important? Why it is required to conduct an election in India? Look at this. There is a parliament, state legislature, particularly parliament, Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, and all state governments, state legislatures, Vidhan Sabha and Vidhana Parishad, president and vice president. These constitutional bodies, particularly in India, what is the election system? Election system in India. India is a largest country in the world, 7th place in area, and also India is most populated country in the world after China. It is very difficult for all the people to gather and take decisions. So the need for elections arise. India is the largest democratic country in the world. What is the election system in India? Look at this one, election commission. Let us discuss Election Commission. The Election Commission was set up in 1950 on January 25th. This is an autonomous constitutional body. With its authority, it prepares electoral rolls and conducts elections to Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, state legislative bodies, the president and the vice presidents. Look at the slide. It is the Election Commission head office. It was located in Delhi. Our Indian Election Commission was set up in 1950, January 25th. By the completion of 60 years on 25th January 2010, the Election Commission of India celebrated Diamond Jubilee and announced 25th January 2011 as First Voters Day. In this regard, 2010, it is the completion of 60 years of completed years. It was established and completed 60 years 2010. Then 2011 onwards, every year January 26th, we are celebrating National Voters Day. Autonomous status for Election Commission. Look at it, it is very difficult to conduct elections in India because of a huge population. I already told you, India is the most populated country in the world after China. During the British rule, only 14% of the population had right to vote in the elections. Why it is only 14% of the population had right to vote? Remaining 86% they had no right to vote. Who are the 14% voters in British period? They are educated only, who are capable to pay taxes, who are taxpayers, and educated people are allowed to right to vote. They had only right to vote in India. Particularly, every after election commission was established, we conducting every 5 years general elections 1952 onwards. In this regard, during the British rule, only 14% of the voters voted in the British period. At the time of first general elections in 1952, there were 17 crores of voters in India. At present, the number of voters is above 67 crores. The Election Commission conducts elections with the help of about 45 lakhs of staff. The Election Commission, look at this. The Central Election Commission has no separate staff to conduct the elections. According to our Indian Constitution, as per the Article 224, clause number 6 of the Constitution, with the permission of the President of India and the state governors of the all states, it utilizes the services of central and state government employees during such times in election period. The election commission has a complete control over the government department. Without the prior permission of the Central Election Commission, no major decisions can be taken. Only Election Commission controlled complete central and state government employees. There is no transfers, there is no promotions by the government. Look at this picture, Election Commission of India. It is the official logo of the Election Commission of India. The Chief Election Commissioner. Look at this. The Election Commission of India is a head of his head is the Chief Election Commissioner. The Chief Election Commissioner is the head of the Election Commission of India. Usually, he is from Indian Civil Services. His tenure is 6 years up to 65 years of age, whichever is earlier. For example, I am 62 years old in this 2020. 6 years, his tenure is 6 years or up to 65 years of age, whichever is earlier. I am 62 years old. I am a Chief Election Commissioner of India now, which is first next 3 years I am working as Chief Election Commissioner of India. Why? Because I will complete 65 years of age. If I am not 62 years old or 58 years and 50 years, whatever it is, I can be Chief Election Commissioner next six years, whichever is earlier, he can retire from the office. Look at this, the first Chief Election Commissioner of India is Sukumar Sen. Look at this picture, second one. Sukumar Sen is the Chief Election Commissioner of India. The first Chief Election Commissioner of India. He came to office 1952 to 1958. 8 years of service done by the first Chief Election Commissioner, Sukumar Sen. After that, there are so many reforms introduced in Election Commission of India. So only 6 years or at the age of 65 years, he will be retired from the service. The present Chief Election Commissioner is Sunil Arora. Look at this picture. Look at this. Commission executes Sunil Arora, IAS, Chief Election Commissioner of India. In the first, when was the Election Commission was set up? It was single member commission. So only one of the member was there in the time of established the Election Commission of India. That is Sukumar Sen. He worked from 1950 to 1958. Sunil Arora, the present Chief Election Commission. In 1989, there is There was reforms introduced by the parliament. According to that reforms, that amendment, it was changed into 3-member commission from 1993 to till now. Look at these 3 members of election commissioners in this slide. First one is Sunil Arora, IAS, the Chief Election Commission of India. The second one, Rajiv Kumar, IAS, retired Election Commissioner of India. Sushil Chandra, IRS, Election Commissioner of India. These 3 members are Chief Election Commissioners. The mainly who is senior among them, that person should be Chief Election Commissioner of India. But there is no difference among the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners as to their salary and designation and powers are concerned. Usually the decisions are taken unanimously or else taken by a majority vote. The Indian Election Commission conducts elections in our country. It frames a code of conduct to the all political parties and citizens of India. It declares the results of the elections and submit to the central and state governments. By this, it becomes easy to form the government. Next slide, look at this symbol, swastik symbol. TN Session. TN Session is the Chief Election Commissioner of India. He became a Chief Election Commission in 1990 from 1996. In Indian political system, the Election Commission has been playing an important role. Before him, it is the Indian Election Commission has been playing an important role. That is okay. After came to the office, Mr. T.N. Session, it was more popularity gained in his period. He took many efforts to eradicate of corruption in the elections of India. There was a nationwide recognition to the powers of the Election Commission. What are the recommendations by T.N. Session in Indian Election Commission reforms? Look at that slide. 14 days time limit for campaigning after the date of withdrawal of nominations. Election Commission conducting elections. In this process, first Election Commission will announce election schedule, then notification release, nominations received by the who are contesting in the elections. Okay, let us discuss next class. Okay, second recommendation. What is the second recommendation? First one, look at that first one. 14 days time limit for campaigning. Every election should be campaigning time. Campaigning period must be 14 days. Second recommendation by TN Session. One candidate should not contest from more than 2 constituencies at a time. One candidate who are contesting in the election, that candidate should not contest from more than 2 constituents at a time. For example, do you know N.T. Ramarao, the Chief Minister of former Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh? He was contesting 2 constituencies. He was 2 constituencies victory. Not only N.T. Ramarao, and also Chiranjeevi established a new political party in 2006, Praja Rajam Party. He was also contesting 2 constituencies. One is Tirupati, another one is local constituency. Maybe Mogalturu is a native village. So he was contesting election in 2009. He won only one constituency, another one is he was defeated. So any candidate only at a time, only only one or 2 constituencies he can contesting in the election, not more than 2. If any candidate is punished for 2 years, he is barred from contesting elections for the next 6 years. If any person, any issue, he punished for 2 years of period, he was not eligible to contesting in the election. So he is barred from contesting elections for the next 6 years. For example, anybody, any candidate, he punished for 2 years, particularly any accused person, he punished 2 years of the punishment in in criminal cases. He was not eligible. He will not eligible to contesting in the election for the next 6 years. If the contesting candidate expires, expires means if the contesting candidate death, the election shall be postponed but not to be abolished. For example, any election, who are contesting in the election after nominations, if any issue accidentally he will die, that election shall be postponed but not to be abolished. The fifth recommendation is by TN Session. After completion of campaign time, sale of liquor shall be banned for 48 hours. Look at this. After completion of campaign, before election, 48 hours before, liquor shall be banned. These are the recommendations by TN Session. These recommendations were very popular in his period. Not only that, these are the reforms nowadays. Till we are continued these recommendations by the TN Session. So, Indian Look at this, the Indian Election Commission conducting elections every 5 years. Actually, the electoral principle was first introduced in India in 1884 for local bodies and in 1892 for provincial councils in British India. What are the provincial councils in those days in British period? Punjab, Bengal, Bihar, Odisha, Assam, Madras, like this. These are the provincial councils. These provincial councils elections were held in 1892 in British period, and also local bodies 1884. These are the first elections started by the British rule. 1937 election, the last in British India. Nearly 40% of the population had voting rights. Only the educated and taxpayers were voters. We have already discussed. So the election process started in India by the British rulers in 1884 onwards. The election commission was set up in 1950 January 25th onwards. That the act, the representations of People's Act 1951. According to that act, the election commission was held the first general elections to the entire country, like Lok Sabha, and all the states, like state legislatures, the lower house, that is Vidhan Sabha, conducted by the elections conducted by the election commissions in 1952 onwards. India as parliamentary system of government. In this parliament is supreme. Parliament has two houses. Upper house is known as Rajya Sabha. It is also known as House of States. The lower house is House of People. It is known as Lok Sabha. We know very well these houses elected by the people directly or indirectly. Okay, next slide. Evaluation. Students, the above topic we can, what do we discuss the above topic? In this topic, there are two questions. There is two questions. One is the right to vote plays a key role in democracy. Discuss. What is the right to vote plays a key role in India? Describe the role of Election Commission India. What is the role Election Commission of India? Election Commission first prepares electoral rolls and schedule releases. Okay, students, thank you.